Welcome back to the Neuro Finance Masterclass, day 56 of our 365 Days to Financial Freedom series. I'm Alex, and I'm here with Jordan. And today, we're finally popping the hood on the modern market.
Absolutely, Alex. Look, we've talked about the institutional whales before, right? We've dug into the very real dangers of short selling. But going through today's source material, it hit us. We have to tackle something way more fundamental. This explainer is going to reveal who, or actually what, is really executing modern trades. Because to grasp why the market swings the way it does, you have to expose the invisible, lightning-fast forces actually turning the gears.
So, close your eyes for a second. When you picture the stock market, you're probably seeing that classic movie scene, right? A chaotic room, guys in suits, papers flying everywhere, everyone screaming across the Wall Street trading floor.
Right, the classic 90s vibe. But man, diving into the data, it turns out that mental image is basically 2 decades out of date. That whole human trading floor, it's just a nostalgic illusion at this point. The actual reality of the stock market today is a completely different universe. We're talking cold, totally silent, climate-controlled server farms. The modern market is absolutely entirely run by algorithms and supercomputers, and they're operating at speeds our human brains literally cannot even comprehend.
Okay, so how exactly did they hijack the system? Well, the Wall Street elite use this tech called high-frequency trading, or HFT. And the craziest part about this isn't just the clever code. It's that they literally alter physical reality for an edge. They drop hundreds of millions of dollars just to physically place their computer servers right next to the stock exchange's servers.
Yeah, to give you some perspective on the absolute insanity of this, a few years back, this company called Spread Networks spent roughly $300 million to drill through solid rock in the Allegheny Mountains. Why? Literally just to lay a fiber optic cable in a perfectly straight line between Chicago and New York. All that money, all that dynamite, just to shave 3 milliseconds off their transmission time. It's wild. But that massive engineered speed advantage lets these algorithms constantly scan the market, spot micro trends, and execute thousands of trades in a single second.
And their whole strategy here is brilliant, but it's totally ruthless. They're going for fractions of a penny, millions of times a day. They aren't sitting around waiting for those massive multi-year home run investments like you and I are. Because their data travels milliseconds faster through those painstakingly straight cables, they're essentially just scraping the market.
Right. Picture a machine blasting down the highway at 1,000 miles an hour, just vacuuming up loose pennies. They are grabbing a microscopic fraction of a cent on every single transaction. They're sweeping up the crumbs left behind by human inefficiencies before we even realize those crumbs exist.
When you actually break down the math on this, it'll blow your mind. The action itself is totally insignificant to us. I mean, capturing fractions of a penny per trade, that feels like absolutely nothing.
But the volume is where the magic, or I guess the madness, really happens. They run this millions of times a day, working in literal nanoseconds. So those microscopic profits scale up instantly into billions of dollars. Just bam, 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 thousands of times a second, extracting value out of thin air before your eye can even register a price flashing green or red on a screen.
Which brings us to a really profound realization. And honestly, it exposes the absolute greatest lie being sold on the internet today. Day trading. You spend 5 minutes on social media, you see it everywhere. It's pitched as this ultimate hack for quick financial freedom. Oh, totally. But once you understand this cheat infrastructure we just broke down, you realize retail day trading is a complete and total delusion. You've got amateurs sitting at their local coffee shop, staring at 1-minute charts on a laptop, drawing these little colorful trend lines, and actually believing they can jump in and out of stocks daily to beat the market. They are being sold a total fantasy. It's literally bringing a pocket knife to a laser-guided missile fight.
Exactly. When a retail investor sits down to day trade, it's just pure futility. Think about it. You're trying to fight a war on spotty coffee shop Wi-Fi against institutional algorithms that literally blew holes through mountains just to be 3 milliseconds closer to the data feed than you are. When you look at it objectively, the mismatch is almost comical.
Let's actually walk through the exact sequence here, just to show how impossible this is for a retail trader. So, imagine you're looking at your chart, you make your big decision, and you click buy.
Right, but before that signal even reaches the exchange, the HFT algorithm has already seen your order coming.
The supercomputer instantly buys the exact stock you wanted, basically front-running your order by a microsecond.
And then, seamlessly, it turns around and sells that exact same stock back to you at a slightly higher price.
And the wildest part? This entire back-and-forth execution happens before the physical mechanism of your mouse button even clicks back up. It really all boils down to this unavoidable, incredibly humbling fact.
You simply cannot outtrade a supercomputer. You just can't. There's no winning a high-speed day trading war against an opponent that never sleeps, never feels panic, never gets greedy, and literally operates at the speed of light. As human beings, we are completely and fundamentally outmatched in the arena of speed. No question.
So that leaves us with a pretty massive question to unpack here. If the machines really are that fast, and the short-term game is completely rigged at the microsecond level by billionaires with fiber optic cables, how does an individual investor, an architect of their own wealth, actually win?
It feels like a massive paradox, doesn't it? But the solution we're looking at here is actually brilliant because it's so incredibly simple.
We just refuse to play their game.
That's it. That's the whole secret. If you step onto their battlefield, you're going to lose every single time. So the only logical move is to change the battlefield completely. The machines are perfectly engineered to win that microsecond war. They are hardwired to obsess over grabbing a 0.01% price difference right this very instant.
But we don't have to operate on the microsecond. We have the unique ability to operate on a completely different plane of existence.
The contrast here really is everything. The machines are entirely obsessed with the short-term casino, right? Microseconds, AI bots jumping in and out for literal pennies. But our advantage as architects is rooted in long-term reality. Sure, a supercomputer can front-run your trade by a nanosecond, but you know what it can't do? It cannot predict a 10-year macroeconomic cycle. A trading algorithm, I don't care how advanced or well-funded it is, cannot collect a 20-year growing dividend from a fundamentally sound company. They are completely, 100% blind to the long-term horizon. The machines own the seconds, but the Neuro Fitness investor owns the decades.
And time is the ultimate equalizer. When you stretch out your investment horizon from minutes to years, from hours to decades, that algorithmic advantage drops straight to zero. They have absolute power in the short term, but zero power over compounding wealth.
Exactly. An algorithm cannot capture the staggering value of a company innovating over 10 years, reinvesting its earnings, and totally dominating a new market. That kind of exponential, snowballing wealth creation, that requires patience, it requires vision and endurance. And those are qualities a supercomputer fundamentally lacks.
So what are the actual logical steps we take away from all this? First up, it might genuinely be time to delete those day trading apps off your phone.
For sure. Stepping away from the 1-minute and 5-minute stock charts means you stop willingly walking into a casino that's entirely rigged by AI bots. You stop trying to quickly flip assets in a totally stacked environment.
Instead, your cognitive task today is to recommit to your automated DCA system, your dollar cost averaging. You set it, you pull the emotion completely out of the equation, and you just let time do the heavy lifting for you.
We do not sprint against machines. You have to ask yourself, are you going to exhaust yourself trying to win a laser-guided missile fight with a pocket knife? Or will you choose to walk the path they simply cannot follow, the path of patience, compounding, and decades? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you for joining us for this explainer on day 56. Keep your focus on the decades, and we'll see you next time.